My name is Paul. It's not Dan, and this is my wife, Kristin. I wanted to give the Oz and Linda show something exclusive. So if we're gonna,
nice.
I think at 15, I was cutting grass for this landscape company, and the boss smoked this joint with me and got me so high, I was raging hard, and that's when I met Kristin. So she honestly saved my life.
You are like a person that I really look up to, and I don't want you to feel weird or anything like when I'm around you, but in the words of Meet the Fockers, you're the Godfucker. Did you ever want to quit automotive?
Yes, absolutely.
And Kristin, how's it feel or married to Paul Danner?
So what is it like being married to him?
The success of Scanner Danner has pulled me away from her for a little bit there. Like I felt like I was losing her.
He's the best in our eyes. He's the best for our family.
Paul, who's your hero? Like, all right, welcome back to episode 3, right?
Yep, episode 3.
All right, episode 3, and this is gonna be amazing. This one is gonna be really cool because we have a guest that I didn't really think he was gonna be here right off the bat, and he's making his grand entrance, and I'm really excited. I can't wait for this. This is gonna be really cool. It's gonna be him and his wife. Really love that. So, can we say who's gonna be?
Where's the drum roll?
It's gonna be Mr. Paul Danner, and as well his wife Kristin Danner. So they're going to be joining us.
Hey, my name is Paul Danner. I'm not Dan. I knew he was going to do that. We were just talking about that song today.
That song is constantly in our heads.
I think it was AI generated, and it was like I think they know what
Caleb gave some information.
Yes, but like what gets stuck in your mind, like that song is horrible. Like I can't listen to it. I can't.
Bro, I will tell you one thing. Linda comes up to, she gets to the house and she's like, "Hey."
No, it was at Eric's birthday party. I was like, "Did y'all hear the song that Paul's son made of him?"
Yeah, but the way that she brought it up, it was like the newest hit at the club. She's like, "You gotta hear this," and I was like, "What's going on?" Like I'm thinking like a brand new Drake song or something's like about to pop, and then she plays the song, and I was just like, "Country, what?" And then the Dan is the man, and I was just like, "Dude, I was dying." But then she's like, "It's stuck in my head." But please, I'm sorry, I had to put that song on.
That was your theme song.
That was the theme song to the intro.
Well, so you said introduce myself. My name is Paul. It's not Dan, and this is my wife, Kristin. So some of your viewers may not know my wife. This is my wife, Kristin.
But is it true? I did I did do some research on the web, and what I heard is that, if I'm not mistaken, I think Linda, she's the one who told me about this, that you actually change your name legally to Dan Danner to fix up all the confusion. That's I don't know. That's what I heard. I just want to make sure that this is real because you got kind of annoyed at the point that you're like, "Dude, my name is Paul," and you just said, "You know what? I'm Dan Danner now." Is this true? Just tell us the truth.
We do I try all the time to get our granddaughter to call him Dan as much as I can.
She does call me Dan.
Yeah.
Grandpa Dan.
Stuck.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Ongoing joke in the family now. Like Caleb calls me Dan all the time. Yeah.
Well, I was like, dude, I had to.
Accepted it. Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, I have to bring this up. But all right, look, this video that we're doing right here, this podcast, is all about y'all right there. So I do want to talk about this. I don't know if you've ever talked about it or what. Who was Scanner Danner before Scanner Danner? I want to know who was Scanner Danner before Scanner Danner. I'm pretty sure people want to know that. Who was?
I mean, how far back do you want to go?
Dude, start off from like the beginning. Come on, show us the baby pictures. I'm good. I'm good.
I got a picture.
We had one on the shelf.
It was literally, Kristin said this right before we got on with you guys. She's like, "There's a really old picture of us right there." I'm like, "Oh, I need I'd
I
take it
love
out.
that you guys have been together so long.
Like
How
You guys have known each other.
How many years? Oh,
30.
Wow.
is that a mullet?
Let's go. Let's go. I'll
Dude,
take that
I
hairline.
love the aviator shades, man. They are amazing.
Yep, there I am. I mean, that says it all. Pothead, not really much
Hey,
in life.
I need you to find those shades and do another video like that with those shades and
I'll put a wig on.
yeah, just put a wig on.
Yep.
But who was the Paul? Okay, who was Scanner Danner before? Can you explain
How far
to
back you want to go?
just
Everybody's heard how I became a technician instructor. I mean, that story's out there. Let's talk about something new that hasn't been talked about. Me becoming a tech and then becoming a trainer and the whole YouTube channel and all that. I mean, that story's been told a bunch. So
I would say right before automotive.
Okay, but you had mentioned sharing something that people don't know.
Yeah,
that's what I was saying.
That.
So we want to know that.
Oz and Linda, do we have a name for your podcast yet?
No, not
No,
yet. We're
Mechanics
still
podcast.
thinking about that.
Eliminating your wife from that just in the title alone. This is her baby. Remember you said that, Oz. This is
You
her
did say
baby.
that.
Hey, whoa. Come on, man. Hands are up right now. Come on.
Right,
I'm giving up right now.
We'll come back to that. But I wanted to give the Oz and Linda show something exclusive. So if we're
Oh,
gonna
nice.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, I was thinking like even like way back, just your story of like.
We could do that.
Yeah, because I think.
Ducky has a squeak toy. I don't know if you guys can hear
I
that.
know. I was like, what is that?
I was like, it must be the dog or the grandbaby.
Stupid dog.
But I think the viewers want to know stuff that they don't know about. Where were you at before automotive hit?
Yeah.
Before you started turning the wrench, before you even thought about going to school or just doing anything in the automotive field.
Well, I got a funny story on that real quick. I was thinking of what was I doing. So I think at 15, I was cutting grass for this landscape company, and the boss smoked this joint with me and got me so high, and like I couldn't do my work that day. I remember him looking at me and being like, "You're worthless," and I'm like, "You just smoked like some ridiculous weed with me, and now you want me to work?" And I'm like, I mean, that was kind of some of the stuff I was doing.
That's your exclusive story.
The inside scoop of Paul Danner.
I just want to get the story out, damn it. Hopefully you're watching this video. Damn landscaper who made me smoke that marijuana.
I don't know, man. Yeah. So what do we want to talk about?
I was thinking just go all the way back, like your childhood. And what
Yeah, like I know this is kind of like I know they always bring it up, the teachers. What was your, like, when you were a kid? What did you want to become? Did you want to become a hockey player? Did you want to become a wrestler? Did you want to become a banker, an astronaut? What was your ambition? What was the thing that got you going? Like, what was that one thing that you really love to do? Oh, what's the secret Scanner Danner out there? What is the thing that your true love? What is that's what I want to know. What's your true love?
So I mean, my true love, like what I love to do right now is I love to play hockey. So I play ice and roller hockey, and my son's 25. I play on a roller hockey team with him, and then I play in an over 40 beer league ice hockey, and that's my jam. I've been doing that for 28 years. And yeah, this recent knee ACL surgery I had, I've been out for 8 months, and just played my first game a couple days ago, and it just felt like I got my life back. So, I mean, I need it. It's like a mental thing that us guys need. Is like to be able to release and shut down and turn your mind off. And I get that like twice a week. So, I mean, that's my jam. But before that, I never did sports. I was a burnout in high school, as I already alluded to, and I had a really rough childhood. So lost my dad when I was 6 months old, and my mom remarried when I was 7, and my brother was 8. So it was me and my older brother. We called Danner because there were 4 gyms. His name's Jim Danner, but there were 4 different gyms, and they were all friends, and so we all went by last names, and so it stuck. Even my mom calls him Danner, but anyway, you'll hear me say Danner. I'm talking about my brother. But me
Okay.
and Danner, we were 7 and 8, and my mom, we married, and it was like a guy that was really well known in the church. He would actually preach some Sundays, so he was like the perfect match for this single mom who has 2 boys. And so she married him like right away, and the abuse started the day they got back from their honeymoon. So I
Oh
had
man.
from 7 to 15, I had a very, very, very rough childhood with an abusive stepfather. And so
Oh man.
that was
Sorry to hear that.
I focused. There was no sports. There was no athletics. So I was a burnout, and I just wanted to get high all the time and do whatever I could to escape reality. And somehow I met this woman here next to me when I was 19. She really saved my life. She did. So I'm
Oh.
raging. You can imagine like when I'm 15 and my mom finally gets a protection from abuse because there was so much going on. She got papers to get him thrown out of the house because honestly, my brother and I, we're getting older, we're getting bigger. Like we're gonna kill this guy. Seriously. Like we talked about killing him, and mom recognized it, and she got the PFA. And from like 15 to 19, so imagine my stepdad like just holding us down for everything, and now he's out of the way. It was rage time. So from 15 to 19, I was raging hard, and that's when I met Kristin. So she honestly saved my life because
Yeah,
I
just kind of
probably
like,
yeah,
that rock right there that you needed.
yep, it
Yeah,
was her.
that's amazing, man.
Yeah.
That's never heard that
So
story, man.
yeah, man. So no direction, no vision, no nothing, no sports, no. I just it was just surviving. And I honestly, I'm from this point, this part would be known like my dogs are fighting with each other now.
It's all good.
Um, um, I just ended up taking auto mechanics in high school because I just hated everyone and everything, and I hated school and hated teachers, and I wasn't going to be told what to do.
Well, I will tell you my story. When I went to
Yeah,
automotive, I only went there for one reason, because I always wanted a '69 Mustang. So that's the reason I went there, and I just messed around.
nice. That's awesome.
But yeah, tell us, like, so you went to trade school for
Mm.
that reason, but
Yeah,
what
just
made you stick to that? So
so I
I want to know what made you stick to that, and if that didn't work out, what was the next route? What would you do?
so I took tech in high school 2 years. Like I said, just to get out of high school. And then after high school, my older brother, he's 14 months older than me, so he started at Rosedale Tech,
Hmm.
where ultimately I ended up teaching for almost 20 years. But he started at Rosedale Tech a year ahead of me, and I just followed him there. And I'm a recipient of a full grant because when you're low income and single mom with 4 kids, I have half brother and sister from that marriage, and with no father in the picture, the government stepped in and paid for our school. I mean, it was awesome. And honestly, from that point, I had nothing to lose. There was free money there for me to take it, so I just followed my brother there. And the first couple of classes, Oz, I got to tell you, man, it was like I didn't think cars were it. I'm like, this is okay, but like nothing really caught my eye until I got to electrical class, and then teachers start talking about resistance and current and voltage and Ohm's law, and I was just fascinated by it. So I mean, I got bit by that electrical bug really early, and then you know it was just pretty cool. I just kind of took off from there, and I found out that I actually was intelligent, and I could
You're like, I feel
do
good
things.
right now.
Yeah.
This is something I love.
That's the beginning. That was the beginning of it. Yeah. And it was really with Kristin. I remember we started dating in January, New Year's. We met New Year's in '93, and I was finishing up school. So I still had the rest of '93. So January, February, March, April, May, June. So I still had 6 months left of school. And I just remember her just really being a part of it. I really legit crossed paths with her at that exact time. At that exact time. And
Wow.
it was
That's
like,
crazy.
So she was there
but
from the beginning.
yeah, I mean, I just feel like I think I had a little bit more vision beyond myself now, finally, maybe for the first time in my life, as I'm, walking around, woe is me, type stuff. And now, I'm kind of outwardly looking at this, beautiful woman who loved me. And I was like, well, yeah, it changed everything, man. It changed everything.
Dude,
I knew within 2 months. I was 19. I knew within 2 months I wanted to marry this woman. I knew.
Oh,
So that was 28 years ago. This July will be 28 years we've been
dude,
married.
that
Yeah,
is
we've been married.
crazy.
We've been together 32 years.
wow.
Yeah.
You guys
So
have been together as long as I've been alive.
I know, and y'all look so young. I swear, y'all look so young. Y'all look amazing. I will give y'all that.
I was like 32. Wait, I'm turning 32.
I will give y'all that. But I will tell you one thing, and I don't know if people knew this. I will tell you one thing. So I was working out of my mom's house, and I'm going to put a picture up here where the Google Maps, and later on I'll put it up here. I was working out of my mom's house, and I saved up, I think it was like 3 or 4 grand, and I was watching Paul for the longest time. You know, now I was watching him on YouTube and so on. So I had three options. Was first option was just going overseas and just traveling and just having the best time of my life. I was that was option one. Option two was going to open up my shop and start in Oz Mechanics. And option three was to go to this guy's place at Rosedale Tech and be a student there. And
no way, I didn't know that.
dude, that I swear, I promise you on everything, man. It was a decision I was gonna make. Like I don't show it too much when I'm hanging out with you, but you are like a person that I really look up to, and I just I don't want you to feel weird or anything like when I'm around you. But to be quite honest, it was
He's fanboying for a
no, I'm just
second.
fanboying for a quick second,
Hey,
just for a
hey,
quick second. Like
For other reasons, not
yeah,
that.
I was just I really wanted to go over there and just be I just wanted to be your student, man. I just wanted to go over there, learn from you, and uh and do that. But I was looking at the finances going over there, Philly, and it was just gonna be too much. And I was just like,
sure.
I don't know if 3,000 is gonna really do as much over there for 3 months, 6 months over there in Philly. So ultimately, I opened up my shop and it's been good. But that's when I sent you a message. I don't know if you remember this. I sent you a message a long time ago. It was like
Linda just
2011.
shared it with me, so I do have it's fresh in my mind right
No,
now.
no,
Yeah.
no, no. But I sent you a message beforehand
Okay.
because I remember I do have another message that we have right here, but I did send you
Yeah,
a
I'm
message.
waiting for that one.
I did send you a message a long time ago, and I was just like, man,
It was like in 2011, right?
it was 2011, 2010. So, dude, this was 13, 14 years ago. This is how long I've been, you know, fanboying, the way that Linda said it. And this is how long I've been, knowing you. But I was like, man, it would be so cool if you would have some training, automotive training in YouTube. And then, like, maybe 6 months to a year later, you started putting out some content and it was amazing. And then after that, I was just like, all right, so I don't have to go over there. I can still open up my shop and do whatever.
I
I'll
have
give you,
memories.
huh?
I have memories of you early on. I just
Yeah.
I knew your last name's unique, so I would remember. I remember talking with you, and I mean I don't have specifics, but I know your name. I remember your name, and that was early. So
Yeah. So you remember this one.
So let's refresh the memory.
Let's refresh your memory, right?
go ahead. This is first in Dan.
This is
Go
a
ahead.
transcript, almost. This is like what 1.5 pages of transcript. I'm not gonna go full on this. This is really funny. This is from 2012. I don't know if people can see that. I
Yeah,
had to print it out.
it was October of 2012.
October 2012, and we had this conversation when we met in Miami. really cool. Mario Rojas, they had a training event over there. That's when we really got to meet each other and have a good time, dude. Amazing time. And you even brought it up. You're like, dude, I wish we could have recorded this, but it was just it was our time. This was our time, and we are having a good time at the pool. But let me just bring this up right here. And if you remember this,
I
all
don't, but go ahead. Like a big
I sent you an email here. You know, this is my part right here, which is really short, and then this is what you wrote back. Let me bring this up. All right, so I just
didn't
told
see
him.
what you wrote. I'm afraid.
I'm not gonna say the whole. No, here, I'll let my wife because I'll let my wife read the synopsis of it. But it was really funny. This is from 2012. Go ahead, baby. Just synopsis it.
Okay. Oh, I'll read. I mean, yours is very short,
Okay, go
so
ahead.
it says, "How are you, Mr. Danner? My name is Asael Sepulveda. At the moment, I'm attending San Jack College, and I'm attending the auto tech program. I've been watching your videos and really like the way you approach the vehicles. I wanted to ask if there's a way to get a discount on your ebook. In quotation, in parentheses, he puts, money situation is tough at the moment, but I would like to implement your teachings at this college. Thank you for your time, Asael Sepulveda." And
And then,
then,
but you told me that this right here that you wrote was like a AI generated thing or whatever. Like you send this to everyone, and then,
Oh
but
yeah, just describing. Just
yeah, you
describing
don't
the
have to
ebook.
go full in detail because it was like
yeah,
freaking.
basically just saying that you will not be disappointed with the book and other stuff, and then I can read this part if you want me to edit it out. I will, but it says, "P.S. I understand your position as I understand your position as far as your finances go. I feel, however, that this ebook is already heavily discounted, and I believe you will feel the same after a few short days of using it."
And then the funny thing is, when we spoke in Miami, you're like, dude, if I knew that we had this friendship, I would give you all these damn books.
Listen, so in my defense, um, that was when I first published that book. So it was literally October of 2012. That's why I was just looking at my phone. I was trying to figure out what date that was. You probably sent me that within a couple weeks of me releasing the book. And it was like this
Oh wow.
grand scheme of like, I'm going to make some money online. Book, and this isn't how we start. I think I remember having this conversation with you. Um, and well, I'm not going to blame you.
Blame her now.
It's all your fault.
It's all your fault. You're the one who caused all this. You wrote this too. I didn't write all that.
I mean, definitely that it's so embarrassing that that was my reply, and I'm not going to make excuses.
Sounds like getting started though.
Yeah, you were
No,
getting
no,
started.
dude. I
It's just funny to look back at
yeah.
now.
I'm like, we're laughing about it when we're at the at your Airbnb or the
Yeah,
hotel. We were freaking laughing, dude,
we were.
because I was bringing up the stuff and we're just talking about. We're just laughing about it. I just wanted to bring it up. I thought it was so
I
freaking
think it's
funny.
great, and I think for your viewers too, I want them to know that we're definitely past the whole, fanboy stage because we had, we had like almost a whole day together, the four of us, me and you and our wives. You had your kid there, hanging out in a pool, having a few drinks. We went out to dinner. I mean, it was my favorite part of that entire trip, hanging out with you guys.
Oh yeah,
So
we had
like,
a really really good time with you
Dude,
guys.
that was amazing.
it
It
was
was really
amazing, and
cool.
Yeah.
it's really cool to see what you've done with it, honest. Like I remember just when you first started doing your YouTube videos, and one of the things I don't do is I try not to watch other people's stuff just for personal reasons. I don't like to
Just to save your sanity. You can't
yeah,
be constantly
Yeah,
aware.
watching too
yeah,
much, doing automotive every time and watching
yeah,
videos is
yeah.
just too much.
So I mean, I can't say that I watched your progression, and you grow and watched all your videos, because I didn't watch anybody's videos, and I kind of still don't. But I know for a fact, hearing from others and the things that you're doing, and I have seen stuff. It's really really cool to see what you've done with it. It really is, and that's on you. like I take no credit for that. All I provide people is a foundation of stuff. And anytime I see a success story, it is always uniquely that individual that makes it happen. And so props to you for making it happen, Oz. For
and
real.
and
I'm really
and
proud of you. I really am.
and this is what I tell everyone, Paul. You are the Godfather. In the words of meet the fuckers, you're the Godfather of this. You're the one that got everyone in. No, hey, he's gonna be walking around the house. I'm the Godfather. No, but you're the Godfather of this, man. So, like, I always tell everyone this, like, you open up the door. They're the ones that have to walk in and do the work. You're the one that just shows them, hey, this is an opportunity that you can take, and they have to go through the door. But I give you so much praise for doing that, man. So opening up the door and showing a different aspect in automotive is just a beautiful thing, man. And that's why that's why you get so much praise when you go to these training events and this and that and that. You know, there's just a lot of people that appreciate you for being the pioneer when it comes to diagnostics.
I appreciate that a lot, Oz. And I want to reiterate again too that the the feeling is mutual, and it goes both ways because I see and train so many people, both personal and online. And the ones that have the success stories are the ones that are driven. They're the ones that care. They're the ones that are going to put the time in on your own outside of work. They're going to watch a class. They're going to take notes. They're going to then go and practice what they've learned and like apply it in live situations, and that isn't easy to do. And we're only talking about maybe 10% at most would have that. So
Yeah.
that's you, us, for real. So props to you right back, and I appreciate that. I don't mean to deflect. It really means a lot to me when I hear those kind of stories, and when Kristen's been coming to the events with me now, which is great, and she gets to hear them too, and it's just amazing to see the impact that it has had. But for all of the people, and I want to speak to everyone listening who maybe I've crossed paths with, and their lives have changed because of the material. Props to you because you made it happen. I just had the means and the material and the platform to do it, and you took it, grabbed the bull by the horns. Is that the right phrase?
Yes.
All right, and made it happen. So,
Dude,
yeah,
that's
I
amazing,
told you.
man. No,
Yeah.
and that's why, dude, I love you, dude. I just gotta say, I
love
love
you
you
too,
because of
man.
that. I love you because
I
of
mean, it's
that.
a
And
big deal. You should be proud of yourself, man. Like for real, because it's just it, it's 1 out of 10. Even in my own class, if I had a class of 10 students, I had one that I could work with. Sometimes it was 1 out of 20, and that's how small the ratio was. And yeah, it really, and I see the same thing in industry. I see the same thing with shops. I see the same thing out there. It's about the same percentage, unfortunately, that actually really can do the diagnostic type stuff. So props
and
to you on it.
no, and this is a beautiful dude. Diagnostics is you. I was talking to my friend, like when you're changing brakes or doing alignments, this and that. I can put music on and relax and just enjoy time. But when I'm diagnosing, I'm just like focused. But when I fix that problem, dude,
Yeah,
it's like
exactly.
a different
Isn't
high,
it?
man.
It totally is. I agree. It's like it's a rush, and if you have a real crappy boss that doesn't ever praise you for your work, and you get good at diagnostic work, you don't need the boss to tell you good job, because when you see the car pulling out and it's running perfectly after it's been to three other places and nobody else can fix it and you did, I mean, that's all the pat on the back you need, man. It's right there. It's such a rewarding job. It really is. And like people just don't see it, and there's a lot of stuff wrong with our field, of course, but man, it is the reason why I am still in this field, was that
And I
feeling.
want to I want to segue into that. So, well, quick question, and I, I don't think you've ever answered this. I don't know. Did you ever want to quit automotive?
Yeah, yes, absolutely. The first 3 years in the field when I was making pennies. Now, granted, this was 93 to 96.
Mm-hmm.
I was hired at $8.10 an hour in 93, and by 96, I was making $9.50 an hour. And I was like, this isn't cool, like, I
And
mean,
this
that
is
was
when you were
one.
doing diagnostics or
Oh
just
yeah, I mean,
changing?
I was working. Yeah, I was working for actually the shop that my brother now owns. I was working for that shop. I got my brother that job at that garage. Ultimately, he bought it. He owns it now and runs it. But that was my first 3 years was in that area, and that's when I was already an ASE, master tech, and I was only making $9.50 an hour, and that's when Pep Boys was building stores everywhere. And so in '96, they built a brand new store in Bethel Park. Yeah, where the shooter's from. It's where we're from. But anyway, different subject.
You're like, damn it! I lost my my train of thought.
Yeah, yeah. But
Just a random fact.
yeah, I'm sorry, Bethel Park. People are gonna hear Bethel Park. They're gonna be like, "Oh, that's
Oh, damn it!
yeah,
Let me take a shot.
yeah, yeah." But they were hiring master techs at $20 an hour flat rate, and I was making 950. So I mean, that was the jump from 96 to 97. I doubled my pay and bought my first house, and then she was finishing up school, and 93 to 96, she started another year to go, and I think maybe 90. I stayed at home with my mom saving money while I was working, doubled my income, bought my first house, moved out of my mom's house at like 24, 23, and then we got married when I was, I don't know, a year later. So, yeah.
So Paul, let me ask you a question because, like I said, you're a big influence in the YouTube automotive world and this and that. So, if I'm not mistaken, Charles made a video if you should become a mechanic. You're talking about making $9 an hour in '93. I know inflation, this and that. So, would you say, would you recommend people becoming a mechanic? Because
Mm, good question.
this is a thing. Like, you have plumbers that make 100 grand. You have electricians that make 100 grand. You have AC techs that make 100 grand. But sometimes techs don't make close to 100 grand, and we do all those things. We do plumbing, we do electrical,
Sure.
and we do AC. Why aren't we
Yeah.
making 100 grand or plus? What's going
Yeah.
on? Please explain
Yeah.
that to me, dude, in your words.
Well, I got to say, first of all, if Charles is listening, I apologize, Charles, because he asked me to do a 1 to 2 minute segment for him for that video, and I completely dropped the ball for him and didn't do it. So I never made it in the video. And then I know it got shared. I didn't really get a chance to watch it. So I watched parts of it, and I heard some comments, and I think Charles did a really, really great job on that. Covering a lot of aspects. There's so many variables with our field. Um, but absolutely, would I recommend someone studying auto mechanics and learning this trade? I would say 100% absolutely. But I would also add that you want to specialize. And I can only share the path that I walked, and that was when you specialize in electrical and electronics and diagnostics, you are able to separate yourself from the rest of the pack. And the competition and all of the complaints and a lot of the stuff that people talk about, complain about, is from, in my opinion, the general service area, where it doesn't take the same kind of to be able to do that. And so there's a lot of competition. For example, you go into work, maybe you're doing a 12 to 9 shift when you work for retail, and the first 4 or 5 hours of the day are already gone, so all the jobs are already scooped up, and you might walk in, there might not be any cars, initially for you to work on. When I would go into work on a Friday, and you remember those Friday mornings we'd spend together with our young kids, it was awesome. Um, there would be 3 check engine lights and 2 air conditioning jobs under my name, and the entire building is empty of cars. All the other techs standing around because they knew, the service writers, service managers knew when they would give me those diagnostic jobs, it was going to be one phone call that they needed to make to the customer. It wasn't going to be, oh, we changed this part, that didn't work, so now we got to do this part. And nobody wants to make that second phone call. So I earned a reputation, and I didn't have to fight with all the other guys for the work. So that's one piece. Another one is um, just dealing with diagnostic work and how little guys are paid, like dealership level, like 0.3 is ridiculous.
It's crazy, dude.
Yeah, it is crazy. There's Ducky. Hey, hello, Ducky. What are you doing? What are you doing?
Special
No,
appearance.
it's such a complex subject, Oz, and I don't want to beat that to death with you guys right now, but there's there's things that are changing. I want to recommend for anyone watching, if you want to know how a shop should be run, if you want to find yourself in a good shop, if you want to be a good shop owner and make your shop the one to that guys are going to want to work for, I recommend highly the ASOG group on Facebook, the Automotive Shop Owners group on Facebook,
Mhm.
Becky Witt Shop Management. Absolutely huge amount of information there. And then the Changing the Industry podcast. All of those, and that's a Facebook group where there's a lot of people that come together. So the Changing the Industry podcast, to be clear, they do have a podcast, but I'm talking about the group on Facebook that these guys are working with each other, coaching each other. I'm learning so much myself about how this should be done. And this field, if you're in the right shop, you're going to love your job. You'll
Oh
love
yeah,
your job.
for sure.
And an auto technician, like you said, now the downside is, okay, yeah, we should be making more, but an auto tech, like you said, it's all these different fields together that we can do, which means when you're well versed as an auto technician, you can literally get a job in any other trade at the drop of a hat. You
Oh,
really
for sure.
can. So, absolutely 100% go pursue it. 100%.
No,
Sorry, that was longer than I wanted, but
yeah, for me, I believe as a technician, jump into this. This is a wonderful field. I love it.
I
I've
love
been
that.
doing this
I love to
for
hear you say that.
yeah, I've been doing this for 11 years, and I tell Linda, even when we go out to like let's say we go out to vacation or whatever, I'm ready to go back to work on the cars. I sound crazy when I say that. A lot of people
Like,
go on vacation and they don't want to come back home. I'm ready to work on the cars. Like even when we're on vacation, I'm programming. And I need to ask you that one quick question. Why don't you like programming? I want to thank one of my sponsors, Top Don. If you want to step up your game in the automotive field, go to Top Don US to check out their tools that they have available. I use the Phoenix Max, one of my favorite tools. And if you want to step up your game, go check out the various amount of tools that they have on there. Go to Top Don US and get yourself a tool.
oh, it's
Ah.
not that I don't like it. No, I don't like it. Um,
You're like, damn, I
it
can't even answer that.
honestly, it's boring to me.
Oh, well, yeah, I'm not gonna
It's
lie. So
boring.
I
I don't like, when you push a button, it makes that weird. So you need a soundboard. You know that like old Windows like 95 shutdown noise.
yeah.
That like, like I just want to throw things and smash things. And
No, I understand. I
I
work
just
for
don't
all.
like it. It's
Yeah,
just it's not my cup of tea. I just don't like it.
it's not that excitement, when you fix up a car, all you're doing when you're
I
programming, you're pressing
with it.
buttons.
Yay! It
Yeah,
works.
yeah.
No,
No, trust me. Yeah,
no,
trust me. It's a lucrative business when you're
yeah,
doing programming.
yeah.
And I had this conversation with someone, and tell me if this is right or wrong. So when I program a vehicle, let's say, someone, so if I program a vehicle and I program it in less than 10 minutes, they're happy, they're ready to pay me $200. But let's say we diagnose a vehicle and We charge, let's say, 150, 180 bucks, $200 an hour for diagnosing, but we diagnose a vehicle in $10. What's the customer going to say?
You mean
In
10
10
minutes? Yeah.
hours or 10
You said
minutes?
10.
Huh?
10
You
hours?
meant
No,
10
no, no.
minutes.
Per hour.
Oh, because you said $10.
No. I'm sorry. $150 an hour, $180 an hour, $200 an hour,
Okay.
whatever. But
Yeah.
if you finish that diagnostics in 10 minutes, what is the
10 minutes.
customer going to say?
Yeah, they're going to be like, "What do you mean it's $200?" Yeah,
You
because
see,
it is.
but
Because
when
it
I
is.
program a car in 10 minutes, they're
Yeah.
happy.
And I think it's great you're doing that. I'm just in a unique place in my life and in this field, where I still do my case studies, but I'm really starting to bring other people in that are doing
Mhm.
this stuff out in the field, and because I want to still continue to add value to my training platform, and so that's what I'm doing. That's what I'm actively doing, Oz, for a few reasons. Number one, I will not always be here,
Yeah.
and my second born son Caleb, who is my full time editor, manager, you name it, he kind of runs the show behind the scenes. I need to make sure that this young man who's only 23, now the cat and dog is fighting.
Yeah. How many animals do you have? Is a giraffe
We
gonna
have
pass
four
by?
cats.
Cats they're squaring off right now.
Yeah.
Like,
But go ahead.
But I need to make sure that Caleb is set up for life. So what we're trying to do, and this really ties into our nonprofit too, and what my wife and I are trying to do. Eventually, I'm going to step out completely, and I want to hand this over to Caleb. And I want Caleb to have a steady stream of creators that are giving him content to keep him employed, to keep his job, and then he's going to manage the Scanner Danner training platform. And I'm just not going to be there. I mean, that's my ultimate. That is my ultimate end game. And in that realm, I'm uniquely positioned that all of these fundamentals are there that are unchanging. My classes are there, they're unchanging. Yeah, the case studies are getting a little older that I used to emphasize the topic, but the topic's not changing. It's still the same. It doesn't matter if it's a 1997 Chrysler that has a faulty O2 with negative 25% fuel trim. I'm going to teach you that, hey, this negative 25% fuel trim is because of the O2, and here's why, and here's the test you need to do to prove it. That still holds true in 2024.
Yeah,
It's
for
the
sure.
same thing. It's the same thing. So the foundation's there, and I want to do that, and then I want to do this thing. I want to do this thing with my wife, man. I really do. I mean, look, you brought us both on here, so I really think we should talk about our wives for a little bit. The
No,
rest of this segment.
and we're gonna bring that up. I have notes right
Yeah,
here.
we do have a couple.
Hey, you went over. You kind of.
Well, you pretty much answered our questions that we had in
Yeah,
our.
well, you answered our
Nope.
questions, but so this is a two-parter right here that I really do want to ask. First of all, did you ever think that Scanner Danner was ever going to become this big? That's going to be the first question. And Kristen, how's it feel dating or married to Paul Danner?
How,
I'm just playing. No, but in seriousness, going to his training events and everyone going up to him and trying to, take pictures, ask him questions, and this. And how do you feel as well, Paul, whenever you go to his training events and everyone wants to, take pictures, ask you questions, and all that? But let's start off with that. Did you ever
yeah.
think Paul
So,
Scandinavian was going to become this big?
no, not a chance. I mean, a lot of people know this part of the story. I literally never set out to be a quote YouTuber. I never set out to be a social media influencer, whatever you want to call us these days. I just wanted to make my class better.
Yeah.
And then, in 2012, around that area, when you sent me that letter, and I was such an asshole to you, um, I so I feel so bad.
Don't worry about it, dude.
When students get in touch with me nowadays, like I never do that. Like, what would I for? Here's a book, and it was brand new. It was
Dude, it
brand
was so
new.
funny because when
Brand
we
new.
when we were in Miami and we were talking about that, we were freaking just laughing so
Yeah.
much. We
Yeah.
were cracking up so much, man. It was
Yeah.
amazing. But go back to what you were gonna
Yeah.
say.
So I just never set out to do it, Oz. Like when you cross paths with me is when I first started doing this. And I'd been teaching that class. I started teaching in 2000. So you guys were starting to see classes that were taught for literally 12 years straight before I ever turned a camera on. And so then I started capturing my classes. So they were well refined. They were well organized in a way that, students would often say to me, how do you know that I was going to ask that question? When we would get to this one part, I had this question. You seem to always answer those questions, and I don't even have to ask them. Well, the reason why is imagine every question you could possibly imagine on that subject for 12 years before I ever turned the camera on. So it worked really well in the early years whenever I was teaching that at first. But I never set out. The point was I never set out to be some YouTube thing. I just wanted to make my class better for my students. That was it. So no, I never thought it would be that big. And as far as, I'll let Kristin talk now, but as far as how I feel when I go to these events, number one is I want everyone to know that comes up to me that I value every single one of you. I do. And I love it so much to hear these stories. But it becomes difficult too, because after about 8 hours of it, I'll have someone come up to me maybe in hour 9, and I may not have the same enthusiasm left to meet you. And I feel so bad about that because I feel empty. I'm like,
Yeah.
it's really difficult. And so I guess I understand in the training environments, I understand why celebrities maybe can be like assholes to people sometimes, because they just can't, there's no off switch, like no one else can see what's going on. And so I'll let Kristin talk about that because she's seen it. So
Yeah. So what is it like being married to him?
Seeing people fanboying him like that, that's when you see that.
We should have the part that is not good about what this has done to me. You should talk about that too. But go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead.
No, it's weird. I don't know. I mean, he's still the guy. Like I pick up his dirty socks every freaking day.
He's not perfect. He has dirty socks, all right.
He's still, we're married. Like we do the laundry and he works from home now, right? And so we're here together like all the time. So sometimes I'm not in awe of, Scanner Dan. Hard to but it's been interesting, and it's such a privilege that now our kids are older, and so that changes my schedule, and I'm able to go to training events with him. And the first one I went to, it took us like a good half hour just to make it to the bathroom. Like I didn't know what it was like, and even in the bathroom, like I was done and waiting for him, and the door opens and there's like people in the bathroom talking to him. Like I could see him in there. So
imagine Paul.
Was that the one in Florida?
Paul's trying to pee. Hey, what's up, Paul?
SPA.
No, that's in North Carolina.
Oh, okay.
I was in North Carolina. So that was the first time I've really seen it and seen people like standing off to the side, like waiting to talk to my husband. And it's just like, I know him. So
I know him.
I think at Vision, I even tried to like pop in real quick because I already saw people crowding y'all. So I was like, oh, hey guys. And then I just walked away because I already knew I had time taken up.
It's crazy. But what's really neat, and it's something that I do get to experience because I handle the customer support. So if you contact us, that's me that answers it. And I just I see it there, and I get to see it in emails, just the fact that people who do take the training and like run with it, like we were saying Oz has done, you see people just, it changes lives. Or to see people who or to hear from people like on the other side of the world where training like this makes a huge difference. It's not just, oh, I can get a better job. It's like I can now support my family. I can now buy a home. I can be proud. It's just, it means so much. And I think people here don't, he's had class after class after class of people who sleep through it and don't care. And you're going to have that always, but to see people who like get it and grab hold of it and value it. And
like Oz.
Yeah. And then, then write into him and call him like my dearest professor.
I'm gonna put that on my phone now. My dearest professor.
That in certain parts of the world.
Yeah,
But
they
it's
do talk to us like that. It's pretty cool.
it's so valued, and it just is. He's what he shared has really made a difference in people's lives, and so from that aspect, it's just like it's humbling, and
Yeah.
now to get to kind of turn the corner a little bit where we get to embark on something together and a partnership is just really sweet for both of us.
Yeah.
So you
Well,
should
you
talk
you
about
guys are goals because I hope eventually me and Oz can get to that point too.
Oh,
Honest to God,
fantastic. You guys are,
I love your dynamic. I think
yeah.
this show, I hope that this takes off for you guys and like really down the road becomes even more profitable for than your shop is. That's my prayer for you two. I love the dynamic between you two. Linda, you're so sweet to Oz, and Oz, I can see your love for your wife too. It's pretty awesome to
Yeah.
see, and the fact that you bring her along with you with your son, it just says a lot about your character, man. And I'm proud of you, and I'm honored to know you, and I love to watch this.
Yeah, you guys are a great partnership.
Yep.
Well, thank you. I will say, I think I brought this up on one of the podcast episodes, but like it's funny how people probably think like, man, Oz is over here bringing his wife. Like, why is he always bringing his wife with him? And I was like, little do people know that he wants me to be there. Like, he's the one that's begging me to go.
Well,
Exactly.
I think the good guys are like that. Like he wants me to be around and has never,
Yeah.
been out, looking for time away from his family.
Yeah.
That's just
Yeah.
his character. And I just see that same dynamic with you guys and your family. And yeah, you guys are headed for success for
I know,
sure.
it's awesome. Yep.
now,
The dynamic is really good.
when we hung out over there in Miami, I just told Linda, I was just like, this is where I want to get to. I was like, this is I don't know, but can we talk a little bit about our first encounter? I don't know if you remember that
I don't remember.
big event.
Was it at the big event?
It was that
Was
big
it Terrytown?
Okay.
Terrytown.
I think I only went to that once. So
Yeah,
that
it
would have
was
been.
that one
I
time I
think
met.
we've only been once too.
Yeah, it was only one time, but that's the first time I met you, and that's when Eric O was there and
Oh, yeah.
Ivan and all that. But
Yeah.
it was really funny because that's the first time I ever met you, and it was so freaking funny because I remember that we were in a big group chat, and I was messaging, and remember, big event is like you're not just taking like it's just a big class. So
Sure.
there's like
Like
300
600
people in
people.
one
Yeah.
class. So I
Yeah.
remember we're messaging each other, and you put, "Hey Oz, you're here." I was like, "Yeah, for sure. I'm here." I wasn't trying to fanboy or nothing, but it was really funny because this is the first time I met you. I went out to the restroom, and then I turn around and I hear Oz, and I look up and it was you, and I was like, "Oh shit!" I was like, "Oh shit!" And I was trying to act all cool. I was like, "What's up, man?" Cordial freaking handshake and all that. What's going on? And then we went through our day, but then I don't know if you remember this. We went to the bar that night, and then I was like, "Hey, Paul, do you want to?" And then you're like, "No, I heard about you."
Oh
Stop.
yeah.
Yes, okay.
Yeah. You know who I heard about you from was Mike Molesky.
Mike Molesky, yes, dude.
So Mike, Mike was a personal student of mine, right?
Yes.
Like he was in my class with one of my closest friends still to this day, Tom
Tommy.
Wolf.
Yeah.
Tommy. So they're cousins, and I don't know if you knew that,
Mhm.
but yeah. So I mean, I knew about you because Mike got really sick at
Vision.
It wasn't me.
Vision. And so I was at Vision like the year before, and then I knew Mike went, and I heard all about Mike's shenanigans, and then I heard all about you encouraging Mike's shenanigans. And so yes, I do remember that because I was like, no, you keep the tequila to yourself. I think the first time I did some shots of tequila with you was in Florida,
Yeah.
just
No,
recently, because I was so scared to drink tequila with you, and
no,
Like
but
the curse of Oz.
and that's the funny thing. and I don't drink tequila as much,
I
but
know. People over here think that Oz is like a big time tequila drinker. He's really not. He just does it to like, I don't know.
it was the
It's like
Fazio.
a social
No,
thing where he's like,
it,
"Come on, let's drink
it
tequila."
was DeFazio. DeFazio was like, oh, he put Mexican with tequila, and it kind
It
of
spiraled from
yeah,
there.
it spiraled from there. So that's
That
where, but Mike,
Now people associate Oz with tequila.
but I'm telling you, Mike and me, he was my hermano when it came down to vision.
that's
Like,
awesome. I love
yeah,
Mike. Mike's
yeah,
such a good dude.
dude,
And he's really one of those shops I was talking about too, by the way. We'll give props to Mike and PSK Automotive because
Oh yeah.
he really has it dialed in for himself, and he was growing, had two shops, and I watched him almost unravel. And Mike, I'm sorry if you're listening, like I don't know all the details of that. I only know like what you've shared personally online. So of course, when you post things, Mike, we're friends, so I'm gonna see it. And I know that the second shop was a struggle, and I watched you pull back, and you were selling equipment, and everyone's like, "Oh, you okay?" And dude, he's killing it now. He's killing it now. I'm watching him, and I don't know what his numbers are, but I'm watching him. I'm watching the way he talks, and I'm listening to the way he charges and what he does, and he's killing it now. And he's happier, and he's able to go home at a normal time. I'm proud of you, Mike. I'm proud of you, Mike.
Yeah. Well, he's the one that kind of pushed Oz to like charge what he should be charging. He would tell me, "You need to make sure Oz is charging what he's worth."
bro, he
Yeah,
almost slapped me the like the second event that we went to Envision, because the first event was just us getting drunk and we were hungover for like 2 3 days, but the second event we really had a connection. So Mike, I
that's
love you, dude. You are
yeah.
like, dude. You like I always say, he is my hermano, because the first event we got drunk together. He's the first person I met at Vision. Like I was like scared.
That was the one year I didn't go.
Yeah, that was a scared person when I went to Vision, and then like I saw Mike, and
Yeah.
call him when you see him next time, say AK-47. He'll know the name. He he knows that name from Top Golf. But yeah, he's AK-47. But Mike is he's a good friend of mine. I
That's
adore
so
him,
awesome.
but he pushed me. He pushed me to the limit, man. He's the one who he was like, "Oh, you have so much potential, and don't let that down." And he's the one who really, you know, he helped me out a lot. That's
That's
all I really
awesome.
want to say about Mike.
Well, he's definitely one of those voices in those groups that I mentioned. When you hear him speak, you want to pay attention.
Oh, for
So,
sure.
yeah.
So I do want to talk about this, and you kind of briefly talked about it, but so what are the plans of Scanner Danner? Like now, you built it up to what it is now, and you did say that you want to get other people there, but let's expand a little bit more. So what are the plans of Scanner Danner here on that?
So, honestly, I've said this recently. This has been one of the hardest things that we've ever done together as husband and wife. The success of Scanner Danner has pulled me away from her in ways that no other job that I've ever had has done. In the form of this.
Yeah.
One sec, babe. One sec. I'll be right there.
Mhm.
You with me? Like I'm on my phone. I'm answering emails. One second. Hold on. I say that to my kids. Just a minute. Right. So, but it's been a progression, and it crept up on me slowly. And like I felt like for a little bit there, like I felt like I was losing her. Like I
Yeah.
just felt like that. And like I'm like I need to do something different. Like I can't be teaching full time and then doing 50 cars a week and then editing these videos, and like it was like, and that was for years that was going on. And so I've had to take a step back, and so it was really looking at what I have and the platform I have and saying, and listening to what my wife has said to me, which is she would say, to what end? She would use those words to me, to what end? Um, and it took a while for that to resonate. And as I'm looking at what I'm doing and creating, and I know if I spend a little bit more time over here, I can make that more successful. If I spend more time here, I can make that more successful. And then each little branch of an area within the social media realm. If I spend a little more time on, I can make some more income. But then I hear my wife on the other hand, to what end? And I really internalized that and said, I'm going to lose my wife. This is going to make me lose my wife. And I'm still battling this. I don't have it all figured out where the balance is between work and not. And but one of the things that we are actively doing, and this I feel like is the answer for me, especially because I'm 51 years old now, and I'm looking at 60 to be where I'm probably completely removed from this. So that's 9 years. 9 years goes like that.
Yeah.
9 years goes like that. And
So
so
everybody subscribe now.
The last 9 years of Paul Danner.
no, but I'm kind of looking. I'm bringing other people in, guys that are on the front lines, because I cannot be on the front lines anymore. If I'm on the front lines, when I say frontline guy, I'm talking someone that does similar to what I did in the height of this, which was I was probably touching 50 electrical slash drivability slash electronic problem cars a week. I was probably touching 50 of them. I
Wow.
was teaching in a live shop environment where you got 20 students and 5 live cars a day plus the side work I was doing. That's where my maybe I was a little high on the fit. Let's say 30. Let's give an easier number, but 30 problem cars a week. I'm not doing that anymore. I can't. And because I'm not doing that, I'm not as sharp as I was. And I understand that I just can't be both. I can't be the frontline guy and the trainer and scanner danner and a husband to my wife. And so it's like, okay, so how do I balance this? And so it's now, okay, I see this path. Let me pull in Tommy, right? For example, to one of my best friends, personal student. Hey, Tommy, start making some videos for me because you talk like me, you act like me, you were trained by me. So when people hear you, it's like a part of me.
His wife hates that, by the way.
No, I know. But I just love him so much, and it started with him, and so we have Tommy, and now we got Brian Pollock, and I had Matt Skundrich do stuff for me. Now I got Matt Fonslow, and now I have another guy that we go way back to IATN days, Kevin Suttorp, and then I got my brother who's doing video for me, and
Does Mario still doing videos?
Mario, yes, Mario is doing some video for me. So that's 7 different people. I didn't miss anybody, did I? I'm sorry if I did, but
I was going to add to that.
yeah, please go ahead.
Just kind of bigger picture of that though, because that's the specifics of what's going on. But it's on my heart just to share what the bigger picture of that was, which is, when you're doing, and you guys would understand this, a job like this that involves social media and it doesn't end. And 2 more minutes or 1 more email you answer, that could be a sale, that could be a subscriber, whatever. He provides for our family. So that burden is there, right? And it's like, he created this business. He didn't even intend to create this business. Honestly, it just it grew organically, but that supports our family, that supports our son's family. So that burden is there, but it's looking at too, he's as smart as can be. So he can always be at the top of the field. He could do that till, the day he dies. He has the ability for that, but it's what has eternal value, what matters, and our family is what matters. And so he could keep chasing, and always have to be. And I don't know if you guys noticed this, but there's a lot of ego in this field. Bunch of there is a lot of ego, and I think especially with everybody having these platforms, and it takes a strong man to be able to step back and not follow that ego and have to be the best, because he's the best in our eyes. He's the best for our family.
And that's it's funny because I actually kind of had a similar conversation with Oz not too long ago. I feel like because I feel like it's kind of the same boat. Like Oz is very business, trying to talk about what we can do better in the business. But then here comes a wife, how can we be better as a family, And it's kind of our job as a partnership is okay, let's come back down. Like, yes, business is great and it's going to always be there and we can always shoot for the moon, but we also have to remember like our family, our kids and all that at the end of the day, and what kind of legacy we're going to leave for them, basically.
But like this is a crazy thing about owning a business and running something like this. So for a regular 9 to 5 person is 9 to 5. But when you own a business, and this is the reason why we made this podcast, because we want to talk about
I was going to bring that up too.
relationships and all
that was the purpose of this podcast, was relationships and business.
Yeah, that's the purpose of the podcast. Like, imagine getting in a relationship and all is that 9 to 5 or 30 hours a week. But when you own a business, Scanner Danner, it's not 30 hours a week. It's 50, 60, 80, 90, 100 hours a week. Like you said, you're on your phone, you're on your phone trying to, make sure that these subscribers or these people or the ones that are intertwined in your little world, that you have to answer those questions because you want to make sure that they're happy.
How to get a guy asking for a discount to make sure he's paying you full price.
In 2012, all right. When you're trying to start a business, I'm sorry, Paul. I'm sorry. Okay.
It's fine. It's no, but now, it's different now. Yeah. Sorry.
It's so hard, man. Like, and that's what we wanted to make this podcast. Me and Linda really wanted to push this podcast because we want to show a lot of people, when they see a business owner, they're like, oh man.
What they see is the outside, like what we post, like we're going on trips or we're like vacationing with our son or each other. They see all that, but it's like, and then people will be like, oh, you're so lucky. Like, it must be so nice running a business. And it's like, well,
no, not as a business owner, as a person that likes business, yes, we're going to love what we do. But end of the day, it's a lot of sacrifice. A whole lot of sacrifice.
And you're going to face it as you guys continue doing what you're doing. But you guys just keep this in mind as you balance your job and your YouTube channel and now this podcast. Don't let it suck you into a point where you guys lose each other. And I don't see that happening. I'm just telling you from a standpoint of, like, I felt like I was losing my life in this, Oz, and I
no,
just, it's
for sure.
None of it's working. I'll go back and make $9 an hour and what I was doing in '96 and not have money than lose her. You know what I mean? I just nothing.
I think matters. You said, there's sacrifice there, and there definitely is, and only you individually can decide which sacrifice is worth it, right? Like, in moment to moment, you're going to have to decide, is this sacrifice worth it or is it not? And you just, all you can do really is, like, you keep checking in with each other, and ultimately, like, you pray for direction too, because what we've been given here is a gift. It's, Paul's worked very hard, but we also recognize where it comes from, and we try to honor God with our resources, and our resources are it's not just financial, that's our time, right? Our time and our abilities. And so our time as a family, you don't get that back.
Yeah.
You really don't.
Well, this is going to kind of conclude like our segment, but this is more a question for Kristin, just because I know she does more of the foundation part, right? Or is it kind of both of y'all?
I want you to talk about that.
But we wanted you to talk about the foundation pretty much.
Yeah.
And what it is.
Yeah, it's exciting. It's really, we're actually leaving tomorrow to pick up the car that we're donating to a mom in need. She's in the trades and riding the bus for like hours a day to get to school and to work and all that.
You get to spend 16 hours in the car with Scanner Dan.
I do.
How fun is that?
You're living Oz's dream.
You're living my dream right now. We're just missing tequila and bourbon.
Sorry, guys.
I have to remember that tomorrow. I'll be like, I'm living someone else's dream.
The whole time they're driving over there and scanning your news. They're gonna play that song. Yeah, they're gonna play that song.
Scanner, Danner,
stop.
But go ahead.
Anyway, yeah, it's exciting for us. It is, we're both equally involved and we have a great board too. And the thing that's unique about it is that it is only by nomination, and that's not typically how charities run. So if you want to nominate someone, you can do that. It is not just automotive, because honestly, Paul doesn't want to be like fixing 1,000 cars. That would not be his ideal. Like there are a million ways that we help people. There's really no end to it, and we're kind of just waiting to be guided, and we'll just step out wherever we feel that we're led to serve. But it's just a thing, like as our kids have gotten older, that's just changed both of our lives. Me specifically, because I'm home with 4 kids. I homeschooled our kids for a long time. So now moving on, we're starting to get that time back together, just the two of us. And, we don't want to look at each other and be like, okay, now what? Like,
Sometimes you
Yeah.
look at me like
yeah. Continue to grow and find something that we want to do together. And we're very different people, so our interests don't really intersect that much. But we both
Yeah.
have a heart for giving. Like
Yeah.
he's someone, I swear, every other time we go to the grocery, he's looking to pay somebody's grocery bill. He does it all the time. And I'm an introvert, so it makes me super uncomfortable.
I'm gonna have to go grocery shopping with Paul. No, I'm just kidding.
Hey, stand right behind Paul.
No, I gotta stand in front of him.
Oh, stand in front of him, yeah.
Stand in front of us, he just looks desperate.
It's like I'm gonna get a $300 flight just to get.
Right. But he's generous in that way. He loves, he loves to give financially. I love to give my time and my talents. Like and so we want to find a way where we can intersect those two things and just have a vision for a future that's us. And it's about us and just honoring what we've been given. And so with what we've been given is a huge platform that he has, and people have been really generous in making donations. And so we're just looking to see like where we're called to serve, and we don't know where that could be at any given time. Like we're just willing.
Yeah. So we are hoping that Scanner Danner is continuing to be successful enough that we can, that like I said, I want to eventually pass this off to Caleb and keep him employed and have other creators come in. That would be you two, us. And just to help us out and keep the content coming and keep the platform growing. And it doesn't always have to be me. It's not going to always be me. And I'm going to be, we really want to use that as a resource to be able to pull from, work with this nonprofit and really just keep our eyes on other people, because, with success comes the probably curse, I guess I could say, of you're inwardly focused. You're worried about this, you're worried about this, it's me, not necessarily selfishly, but just automatically. And what the nonprofit is doing for me specifically is it's allowing me to look outwardly and stop worrying about that other stuff and know that I have a great platform. I'm going to continue to do what I need to do there, but I'm really looking forward to this thing with my wife, man. I really am. And where God takes it, we're just open for that. We're not looking for another revenue stream because all that is another burden. We have no paid staff. Kristin and I are not drawing from it. So every bit that's donated goes to someone else. We are tax exempt. We have a 501c3. And so we're in the process of making all of those funds public so people can see what we're doing and know what we're doing. And hopefully we'll get other nonprofits involved in what we're doing. And, we ultimately want to make something awesome for this field. But at the same time, like Kristin said, we don't want to be fixing cars and giving them to people, because now I'm just fixing cars again. I don't want to do that. I mean, if I can get other people to do that, and that's a branch of what we do, but it's not me, I'm all for it. But that's not the only thing we're doing. I just want to spend time with her. I got, God willing, so I'm 51. God willing, I got 30 more years with her. I hope
I'll say
so.
50.
I would love to have 50 more with her, but knowing if I die at 81, no one's going to be like, oh man, he's a young man. So I'll take 30. I will take 30, and I want to do something with her like you said, it's a lasting legacy, not only for my children, but for who we are. Like who are the Danners? What are we about? And we want to fulfill the second greatest commandment. The first one is to love the Lord your God with all your heart, soul, and mind. And the number two is to love your neighbor as yourself. So you do those two things and all the other commands fall in line. And it's that second one we want to focus on, is to love our neighbors as ourselves, and stop looking at ourselves and look outward. That is where we are right now. And yeah, so that's the gist of it.
Dude, this is amazing. Well, I think I have only two more questions before we end this off.
Sure.
Well, I do want to ask one thing, and I want to ask both of y'all. And I told Linda, I was like, should I ask this question? Paul and Kristin, we're gonna start off with Paul and then Kristin. Who's your hero? Like, who's that person you look up to? Who's that hero? Who's that just that one that just, I don't know.
If I had to put it to a man in this world,
Man, woman, anyone.
sure, it would be an instructor at Rosedale Tech. His name was Dan Svitko. And so you got a little bit of my background. No father, died when I was 6 months old, abusive stepfather. And I met this man. He challenged me in ways. He was almost like a father figure to me. He's the one that taught me the electrical and electronic parts of this field as my instructor. And I had him for back-to-back classes. So I would have had him for like 6 months straight. I had him as my instructor. That man changed my life. He changed the entire direction of my life. So I get it. When people say to me, man, you changed my life, I understand that. I understand how this kind of knowledge can do that. And he was indirectly, he was real smart ass, and he was real tough. And he was one of those teachers that all the other students were like, you don't want his class. He's an asshole. You will not like him. He's really hard. He was my favorite teacher I ever had in my life. So it would be him. He would be the one that literally changed the trajectory of my life.
Trajectory.
Yeah.
I would say for me, I think one of the people that just comes up to me or comes up for me a lot would actually be his mom. And it's funny, the older I get, the more I appreciate her, because of course, when we started dating, he was 19, this long-haired punk, and just, so I've watched her parent adult children, and now that's the season that I'm in, and I love it so much. It's just so awesome. And just your kids just get better and better. It's fantastic. And but I watched her, like, we'd go to church together, and this long-haired punk would walk in, and she was so proud of him. And
because I wasn't going to church at the time.
Tiny little church, and here he comes, but she's just just so proud. And it was never about what would people think or anybody opinion or image. She's just the biggest supporter. And I think, like, throughout my years of, like, being a young stay-at-home mom, I'd be doing something simple, like I always say, like making peanut butter and jelly for my kids, and to her it was the best peanut butter and jelly you ever saw. Like, she would just pump me up. And so now I'm about to have my second daughter-in-law. Our oldest son is getting married, and it's just, I carry that in my relationship with my daughters-in-law. It's like, I just want to be their biggest supporter and encourager. I want to be the biggest fan of my adult kids, because they're not ours anymore. We don't lay claim to them. We just get to sit back and watch, and they're just the best. They've just grown into
awesome.
Incredible human beings, and I'm just amazed by it.
Well, you're an incredible mother, so yeah.
Oh.
No, Paul, and I think we had that conversation where we were talking about our parents, and man, the way you talked about your mom, it just, my God,
yeah, she's something, man.
Dude,
there's a story for her, like. Yeah, she's been through a lot, man, and she's battling a blood cancer right now too, which really sucks. But she's 5 years into a multiple myeloma battle, and it's not curable, but it's treatable. And I just don't want to see her suffer. So,
but she is the most joyful person you'll ever meet.
Yeah, she's really the reason I have the faith that I do now, and running away from God for a long time, but watching my mom and how faithful she was, and how how real God was to her, and just watching her continue on that path is like she's something else, man. So
Dude, when you were telling me that you would be in the playing hockey and she's like getting stats and all
oh
that,
yeah,
bro,
come to all my games.
yeah, I wanted to
Yeah,
cry so much because I'm a mama's boy, and
yeah.
when you said that, dude, I was just like, I
Dude, I
love
was
this
so
guy.
proud. My last game, which was like a few days ago, I've been off for like 8 months from my ACL surgery.
Yeah.
She's learning the game. She's like, "You had 2 assists in that game." I'm like, "Yeah," and she's like, "But the one was a secondary assist." I'm like, "Let's go, mom."
That's awesome.
I fed the guy that fed the shooter that scored. So yes, mom, you got it right.
Oh,
She's
wow.
He's his biggest fan. It's the
yeah.
cutest thing. I love
She's
it.
a hockey mom.
Dude, she's a Paul Danner
No matter how
mom.
old your kids are, they'll
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Dude, that's just I don't know, man. When we were talking, man, we're just getting into that conversation. Like, oh man, it was just a beautiful thing. Like I was like tearing up and all that, man. It was just talking about that, dude. It was
It was
just it
great.
was
We need
it
to do
was
that again.
yeah,
it
no,
was just
man.
right.
Yeah, I remember you even brought it up. You're like, man, I wish I could have recorded this, but it was just that moment right there was just amazing, and I really enjoyed both of y'all's just letting us in.
Yeah.
That was an awesome thing. Like, I think that night we weren't going to do anything, and we're just going to chill out because
Well, we actually extended our trip, remember? Because
oh
I think we were, yeah,
yeah, we extended it because of Paul.
yeah.
Yeah, because he's like, hey, come through, bring Lito over. We'll be in the pool, and I was just like,
Oh yeah, that's awesome.
I was like, let's go over there,
Oh, yeah,
have
that was
fun.
so much fun.
That was so much fun, man. And we
That was
went
so
to the
much fun.
Mexican
That was the
restaurant
best part of the
afterwards.
trip.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. I don't even remember the other part of the trip.
I forgot all about it.
Hey,
Well,
listen,
we
as you guys go and you continue this podcast, we want to hear more. This is my own personal. I want to hear more about your story.
Yeah.
I want to hear the Linda and Oz story.
Yep.
So I was hoping we get a chance, and I know we've talked. This was more about us, and I really appreciate you guys having us on. But maybe one of these times we do it again, and then let me and Kristin interview you two,
oh,
and
for sure.
let's talk about Linda and Oz
I like it.
on the next one. Next time we're with you guys, we're not talking about us at all. I'm gonna interview you two, or we will interview you two. We'll write some
That
questions
sounds
down.
fun.
We want to hear that. You
Yeah,
said that
no,
it's going to be a couples in business thing, and I think it's really good to talk about. I think you guys have a lot to share, and I think it'd be awesome. So
That
no.
sounds like a plan.
I believe I just think that a lot of people when they think of couples in business, they're just like, oh, they're rolling in money or rolling in cash, this and that. They don't have any problems. This is why we wanted to make this podcast because it's really hard, man. It's something else.
it is, and you
It,
guys are together
yeah.
in this. This
Mm,
is a period of time where you're together. Remember. I want to remind you that not because of anything but my own internal issues with everything that I do is remember each other. You know,
yeah.
and that's what this is about. You guys remember each other, and the success part of it won't matter. It will be you two together. You do it together. That's what it needs to
That's
be.
the success.
That's the success.
Yeah.
And for sure, and that's why I felt like, you know, y'all being the first
Guess.
guest, I was like, man, this is gonna be amazing. This is gonna be, I don't know. I just felt like y'all have being the first guest. We're just gonna, I don't know. It was a,
Are we the first guest? We are the
putting
first guest.
Scanner Danner aside is
Yeah. Who cares
I
about that?
no, I told Linda I just like I love y'all's dynamic. I really do. I really do. That interaction that we had together, I just really enjoyed that time that we had together, and I was just like, man, I'm really hoping that they could be a part of the podcast. And when you said yes, I was like, I was so excited. I was so happy, and
Yeah.
I'm just so glad that y'all made it to this, and we made this happen. Like
Yeah.
we're an hour and 40 minutes, and
Yeah.
to me
We're
it
Something
felt
like that.
almost an hour and a half
yeah,
into it.
and they're an hour and a half, and it does not feel like an hour and a half. I wish we can go
Yeah.
any further, but I know y'all have dogs there and all that good stuff.
They've already
And
done all the damage.
Yeah.
I think they've they've really had quite the time.
We really appreciate you guys having us on. We look forward to doing it again. We're happy to be your first guest, and I'm just honored by your friendship, and I'm really sorry about that book again.
I will send you a message again. Yeah, there's gonna be a lot of people sending you messages.
Discount now if you want.
Right.
Can you please?
He already has the book.
Yeah, I have the digital book, freaking
$20
paper
with
book,
interest.
All you need to do is get an autograph now. I'm just kidding.
No, he did send. So he did send an autograph. I think you did send one autograph book or something like that. So we do want to bring that up before we end off. So you have your foundation. We actually started the Oz Mechanics Foundation too. High five, baby.
Nice.
That's
Yes.
awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you guys
so-
are not slowing down at all.
Yeah, we started the
wait.
Oz Go ahead.
Good. Yeah. Good.
It was the Oz Mechanics Foundation. So what we're doing is that Vision is one of my babies. Like I said, that's where I met Mike Mileski. So we are trying to. Last year, we actually got one student over there full ride. That was
Nice.
4 days of training,
Flights, hotel,
flights, and hotel.
Love
and the
it.
training.
Yeah, he didn't pay
Well,
one
that's
penny.
what we can do together. So we can, talk to Kristin, and we can partner with you guys on that and help you out. Maybe we can, get enough to get 2 people or something this time.
That'd
So,
be awesome.
Awesome, dude. Because we just talked to Sherry from Vision, and she.
I think she said she was going to try to do 2
Yeah,
for us.
we locked it in. So we're paying
Yeah.
for one. We're paying for one student for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what she told me is that we're gonna try to get a second student. So this is gonna be amazing if we can do
All
that.
right, well, keep us in mind for stuff like that. I mean, that's what we're talking about, with our nonprofit and what we're doing, and just want to be able to help people wherever we can. So, just glad to see you guys doing that. It's really awesome that you guys would do that. That's feels good giving back, doesn't it, Oz?
Oh, for sure, man. It was it was a good time hanging out. We've actually made it like so. We actually hang out with the
With the winner,
Yeah.
because he was actually from around the Houston
yeah,
area.
he was from the Houston area, so we actually hang out with them. We went to an escape room
Hang out with
him.
his wife and kids.
Yeah, never met him before. It was a really good experience, and he's
Yeah.
ready to go back to Vision. He's ready. He loves training, and he calls us, and we're in a group chat. So we want those type of
Yeah.
technicians. We want
Yeah.
those type of technicians that are hungry for that, and that's what we're
Absolutely.
looking for. And
Yeah.
last year we had, I think it was like 100 and something entries, 150, 200 entries. Hopefully we can push a lot more this year. We're gonna be talking about that pretty soon.
Yeah.
So we're gonna do the giveaway again, and we're gonna do hopefully 2 full
Well,
rides.
Yeah, we'll get together and see what we can do of possibly doing something together, collaborating.
Yeah,
Linda,
because
talk to Kristin for sure, and it'll happen.
Yep.
I mean, when
Awesome.
you talk to me, it usually doesn't. So talk to.
I know. I'm like, okay, let me message Kristin.
but dude, this was
I have like some OCD, and I can't focus, and I'm all over the place. I'm kind of scattered. I think a lot of us have that in common that do what we do. So
Yeah, for sure. I've definitely told Oz that.
yeah, no, not OCD is ADHD.
Oh no, ADHD for
Yeah,
Oz.
Linda told me what on the first podcast she diagnosed me and told me that I have ADHD, which
I know I love
don't.
that. It was awesome. I'm looking forward to doing this again with you guys and like interviewing you guys. I think it'd be fun.
Yeah.
So.
All right, awesome. Well, thanks again for joining us. We appreciate y'all taking the time out of your days to talk to us for a bit.
Yeah.
We're so honored. Thank you.
This was amazing, man. I thought I was gonna be sweating and just being freaked out, but this was just, dude. This was a casual conversation, and I'm really hoping that people really enjoy this podcast. I'm really loving this. This is amazing. I can't wait for other guests. I can't wait for, to see where this goes to. And I can't wait for you to ask us questions because I have a lot of stuff to tell y'all.
Just awesome. Awesome. All right. Well, you guys, thanks again. We're going to let you go so you guys can get on with your night.
I got to finish up my thing. If
Okay.
you like this video, don't forget to put a big thumbs up, and don't forget to hit that little notification bell to get our brand new videos coming out from Oz Mechanics. Y'all take care. Y'all have a nice day. Goodbye.